Alright folks, let's dive right into the heart of things with a proper deep dive. Into Ross Doohan's return to Celtic after that media event. He walked into that room brimming with energy. And though I wasn't there myself, you could feel the buzz crackling through the chatter. Ross started off by explaining why he left in the first place, simple as that really. At the time, he felt he needed regular minutes to sharpen his game to grow. But then coming back, he spoke of how those years away shaped him not just as a goalkeeper, but as a man. He's come back buzzing, he said, pure excitement to don that green and white again. He then touched on how he sees his role alongside Joe Hart's Joe Hart's replacement, the young lad Cassio. No, wait, that's not right. I keep mixing names. Anyway, stepping back, working under Brendan Rodgers, brushing shoulders with seasoned campaigners in the goalkeeping setup and being part of a squad that's pushing a certain style of play, a style that demands composure at the back, an ability to spark play from deep, and most importantly for a goalie, clean hands and calm nerves when transition comes. Ross was clear he's not content with merely training. He wants actual match minutes. He wants to knock on the manager's door, and he's keen to shoulder responsibility for the team's rhythm from the back, hard miles every day, that's his promise. We then heard him reflect on his time at Aberdeen, a heartfelt acknowledgement that the 2-year spell up there playing Premiership football, feeling that everyday footballing grind didn't just help his game, it grounded him. And when the call came from Celtic, he said it was a no-brainer. He described that moment like a dream, hard to turn down, a chance to come home, brush off some familiar town dust and stake his claim. That sense of momentum didn't stop there. Ross spoke about his Scotland debut, and make no mistake, it's a major feather in any player's cap. He recounted being on holiday, surprised by the call-up somehow making that dream of the national team a reality. And then only hours later, news broke of his move to Celtic. He told the room he was absolutely buzzing. It's a whirlwind few weeks that only the staunchest professional could thrive through without spinning. And yet he's here, focused and determined to build on it. Then came the questions about squaring up to mates in the dressing room, teammates he played against last season, names like Kyogo and Callum ****, and again apologies for the mix-up. Point remains, Ross highlighted how ruthless Celtic were. He praised their tempo, their intensity, and the relentless drum of attack. For him, it wasn't just about noise and bravado, it was a calculated seasoned performance that simply commands respect, and one he's itching to join. And then the mood shifted, turning more serious, more reflective, as the conversation drifted to the sadness surrounding the passing of Lisbon Lion John Bubbles McPhail. Ross recalled first meeting him at Lennox Town during his earlier Celtic spell. A genuine smile in his tone, even in grief, always a memory seeing him around. Before delivering the kicker, how much of a pillar of the club he was. His departure, he said soberly, leaves a monstrous hole, but the club, the fans, the spirit of this place has him forever in its fabric. Grief felt across generations. When asked about how his experiences from south of the border, living in England, bouncing through different clubs, shaped him, the tone switched back to resolute positivity. He spoke of maturity both in life and on the park. Those varied spells brought ups and downs, yet each moment remained integral in sculpting who he is today. Wouldn't change any, he insisted. And once more he tagged it as a dream to return home. As the questioning edged into tactical territory, how Brendan's style demands goalkeepers to be more than shot stoppers, to come into play and spark the team, Ross dug in. He recognized the philosophy: proactive play, passing from deep, keeping calm under pressure. He expressed readiness, a hunger to contribute and learn day in, day out, building on every session. He's young enough to learn, yet hungry enough to push. It's a rare blend. And then more personal reflections. Has the place changed since he was last here? He said yes, a bit. The changing rooms got a touch of freshening up, even the buildings. But that intangible Celtic spirit unchanged. Familiar faces greeted him, old friends, club staff, lads from days gone by. And in that instant the memories came flooding back. One walk through the door and that spirit, the banter, the yellows and greens, the aura of this place slapped him right in the heart. He capped it off by admitting he's absolutely buzzing to be back. That he's ready to grind, ready to learn, ready to answer every challenge the training ground and match day throw at him. And that, my friend, sets the tone not just for Ross Doohan, but for the whole goalkeeper department. Composure, ambition, respect for the club's history, and eyes firmly on what's next. So there you have it, Ross Doohan's heartfelt, honest, and energetic return. Not just a player, but a story of growth from youth prospect to seasoned returnee. The whip-smart maturity of a man who's learned to adapt, embrace responsibility, and rise to match demands of a forward-thinking, relentless Celtic side. Continuing From where we left off, Ross Doohan wasn't the only one making headlines this week. Alistair Johnston, another key figure in Celtic's setup, gave an eye-opening interview that shed light on his whirlwind schedule and the mental toll that Topolville football can take. After missing the opening match of Canada's Gold Cup campaign, questions naturally surfaced. Was it an injury? Was it fatigue or something else entirely? Turns out it was something more personal. The lad had just gotten married, and with the blessing of Jesse Marsh, the Canada boss, he was granted some much-needed time off. That's no small gesture when you're in the thick of tournament prep, and it speaks volumes about the trust placed in him. But it also speaks to the intensity of Johnston's past few seasons. Since arriving at Celtic, his schedule has been relentless, basically year-round football. We're talking Champions League nights, the Scottish Premiership grind, international duty with Canada, and even the Winter World Cup. Now he's facing another Gold Cup and a World Cup on the horizon. It's a brutal calendar, and yet the man just keeps going. The numbers back it up, to over 110 matches in the space of a couple of years, and even when he does miss the odd game, it's usually friendlies or matches where he's being rested for bigger occasions. Otherwise, he's there putting in a shift week in, week out. Johnston also opened up about the pressures of life in Glasgow as a Celtic player. When he first arrived, he fully embraced the spotlight, soaking in the culture, the fan attention, and the expectations that come with wearing the shirt. But he admitted that over time it started to wear him down. It wasn't just the physical toll of playing non-stop football. It was the mental fatigue of being constantly on, recognized in the street, stopped in shops, always having to be switched on. It's easy to forget that behind the badge there's a human being dealing with all of that. He spoke to a sports psychologist, moved out of the buzz of the West End and into a quieter space, where he could find some peace and regain his focus. That honesty is something fans don't often get to hear. We see the performances, we judge the stats, but we don't see the mental side of being a professional. In a city like Glasgow, Johnston laid it all out, how the weight of expectation was affecting his game and how stepping back helped him recharge. And it wasn't just introspection for its own sake, it was part of a bigger message. He talked about staying level-headed, not getting too high after a win, or too low after a tough result. It's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems, he said. That mindset is what keeps players grounded, especially in a club where pressure is ever present. And make no mistake, Johnston's presence on the pitch reflects that mentality. He plays with his chest out, confident, assured. That swagger isn't arrogance, it's a psychological edge. He even spoke about how players from top clubs like Bayern Munich carry themselves in a way that can rattle the opposition. That kind of presence, he believes, is something Celtic players need to adopt more often, especially when they're the favorites in most domestic matches. Walk like winners, play like champions, even when the score line doesn't reflect it yet. Switching gears now, we also got the confirmation of Sean Maloney's new role at the club, professional player pathway manager. It might sound like a bit of a mouthful, but it's an important step. Maloney's coming in with the task of creating a clearer, more effective route for young players from the academy to the first team. It's no secret that Celtic haven't quite hit the mark in that department over the past few years, so bringing in someone like Maloney, who knows the club inside out, who's coached at international level, and who has a working relationship with Brendan Rodgers, feels like a move in the right direction. The announcement didn't come with any bombshell quotes, but Maloney made it clear he's here to bridge the gap between potential and performance, and honestly, it's about time. For a club with a proud history of developing talent, Celtic have fallen behind in maximizing what's coming through the ranks. Maloney's presence is a statement of intent. He'll be working alongside Rodgers, Paul Tisdale, Chris McCart, and the academy coaches, which suggests a more unified approach. That's what it's going to take, not just identifying talent, but nurturing it in a way that actually leads to first-team minutes. It would be brilliant if the club made this process more transparent. Imagine a proper sit-down interview on Celtic TV with Maloney, and maybe even Tisdale laying out the plan, not every detail obviously, but enough to give fans a sense of direction. Instead, we get these press releases behind closed doors, and while they serve their purpose, they don't quite bring the supporters along for the ride. And this is a journey worth sharing. The fans want to see the club thriving from within, not just through transfers and short-term fixes. One other thing that slipped into the headlines was the club's promotion of Celtic TV ahead of pre-season. Looks like almost every friendly will be broadcast live, which is a nice touch, especially considering how fragmented coverage can get. That exception, of course, is the match against Newcastle at Celtic Park, which won't be shown live in the UK or Ireland. Still, it's encouraging to see the club making the effort to connect with fans. and give them access to these matches even. The Behin Close Eaters ones. And just before we wrap this segment up, there's Greg Taylor. Word is his departure might be made official in the next few days, maybe even Monday. After 6 years at the club, it's looking like his chapter is closing. It would have been tittier to get that sorted right after the Scottish Cup final, give the lad a proper send-off. Let fans say their goodbyes, but it is what it is. Hopefully the club's got something lined up to acknowledge his contribution. He's been a solid servant through different managers' systems and plenty of pressure. Now it's just about seeing where he lands next, and for Celtic finding that next left back to complement what could be the return of Kieran Tierney. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers are beginning to ripple through the Scottish football scene, with strong speculation emerging that ANGE BALIKWISHA may be on his way to Celtic Park. Though nothing has been officially confirmed by the club, several sources close to the matter suggest that the 22-year-old winger has signed a 4-year deal with the Hoops, sparking excitement and curiosity among the Parkhead faithful. BALIKWISHA, who's been impressing in Belgium with Royal Antwerp, is said to be seeking a fresh challenge, and Celtic, ever on the lookout for dynamic attacking talent, might just be the perfect stage for his next chapter. The Congolese international has been on the radar of several European clubs, but murmurs suggest it's Brendan Rodgers' side that may have stolen a march on the competition. If true, it would be a significant move, both for the player and for the Glasgow Giants. It's understood that talks between representatives have been ongoing for weeks, with final details quietly ironed out behind the scenes. Some fans claim to have spotted BALIKWISHA or members of his entourage in the West End of Glasgow recently, though such sightings remain unverified. Nonetheless, the rumor mill is grinding at full speed, and social media has been buzzing with speculation ever since. Supporters will remember Celtic's success in nurturing attacking players and giving them a platform to shine, and many are already drawing comparisons between BALIKWISHA and past wingers who've lit up Celtic Park with flair and pace. Should the reports prove accurate, the young forward could arrive just in time for preseason preparations, with a chance to bed into the squad ahead of European qualifiers. While the club remains tight-lipped for now, the potential arrival of BALIKWISHA has certainly set tongues wagging in pubs and forums across Scotland. Is this just summer gossip, or the beginning of something exciting for the green and white? Time, as always, will tell. Hello, fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.